Welcome to Sports Jam for the week of March 11th. I'm Jay Wilcox.
I'm John Jacobson. This week on the show, section championship battles in girls basketball, and we'll profile Wayzata boys hockey coach Pat O'Leary in our Sports Jam Spotlight.
And we'll get started with the state boys hockey tournament. The Wayzata Trojans excelled in the rugged Section 6AA tournament, beating very good Minnetonka and Benilde teams in the last two rounds. The Trojans entered the Class AA tournament as the 4th seed, and a good battle for them in the quarterfinals against Centennial. Scoreless into the second when Trojans goalie Aaron Dingman takes a tumble over the net. The Cougars take advantage. Adam Anderson puts it away for a 1-0 Centennial lead. A very close call then as Anderson tries to make it 2-0. It gets through Dingman's legs and he reaches back and gloves the puck on the goal line. It's worth another look. The puck has to cross the line completely and it's ruled no goal, and it stays 1-0. Still trailing late in the third, Coach O'Leary's team comes through as Matthew Freitag flips it to Jalen Wall for the goal with just 1:15 left in regulation. This one's headed to overtime, tied at 1-1. And Wayzata wins it as Chase Haller sends it to the net. Chase Heising is there to bury the rebound. Wayzata advances with a 2-1 win.
That rally pushed the Trojans into the semifinals, where they faced off with top seed Hill Murray. Wayzata's fans fired up for this Friday night matchup at the X. Second period, and Wall sets up Haller on the doorstep for a goal. It's a power play marker, and Wayzata leads it 1-0. Same score with 7.5 minutes to play in the third period when the Pioneers' Davis Zarambinski scores from the top of the circle. It's 1-1 heading down the stretch. Hill Murray gets another one a couple of minutes later as Ryan Black rifles one in from the slot to beat Dingman. 2-1 Pioneers. Final seconds of the game, the Trojans win the face-off. The Wall's backhander in front is stopped by goalie John Dugas. Hill Murray rallies in the third period to beat Wayzata 2-1.
You know, we played well in the first 5 to 6 minutes, I'd say, of the third, and then we kind of started standing around in our D zone a little bit. Didn't pressure the walls on our D zone and get pucks out, and just allow them to get shots from the point that we usually don't allow people to get.
Wayzata falls 7-3 to Duluth East in the third place game. That leaves them with a 22-9 final record. Jay profiles head coach Pat O'Leary later in our Sports Jam Spotlight.
In Class A, Breck was back at state for a 5th consecutive season. And Breck faces the Marshall Tigers in the quarterfinals. Doesn't take long for Breck to score. Lucas McCormick to David Husband on the doorstep for the first goal. Just 2:01 into the contest. About a minute and a half later, the Mustangs strike again. Thomas Lindstrom gathers in the loose puck and snaps it in. It's 2-0 Breck. Still in the first period, and number 42, Michael Orkey, bangs home a rebound goal to make it 3-0. The Mustangs roll to a 6-1 win.
Breck knew they'd be in for a much tougher test as they prepare to face the number 3 seed Hermantown in the semifinals. Down 1-0 late in the second period, Breck's Matt Colford wins the race to the puck and sets up Thomas Lindstrom. Breck ties it with just 13 seconds left in the period. Early in the third, Colford carries it in. Jack O'Connor follows up and snaps the quick shot in. That comes just 12 seconds into the period. After Hermantown ties it, Colford's long shot is blocked, but he fires again and hits the net. Breck retakes the lead 3-2 with about 8 minutes left in the third period. But Hermantown again responds. Bo Gronseth whips the backhand pass. Travis Kepke for the goal. It's 3-3, and this one goes to overtime. In the second OT, Nate Pionk leads the rush. Zach Kramer puts away the close-range shot. Breck falls 4-3 in double overtime. In the third place game, Breck edged East Grand Forks 3-2. The Mustangs scored all 3 of their goals in the second period. Matt Colford was named to the all-tournament team in Class A. And it'll be floor hockey on tap this week, Jay, at the state adapted tournament.
That's right. The Robins of Robbinsdale, Hopkins Mound, Westonka, the number 1 seed, again in the North Division of the PI division, so they are looking to repeat as champions. Next up, we'll hit the court for section basketball playoffs, including section finals for a number of local girls teams.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. It's been a great girls basketball season in the area.
That's right. 4 local squads headed back to state. 3 of them are defending champs, too. The Osseo girls were runner-up in Class 4A a year ago. They played top seed Roseville in the Section 5 title game. Phyllis Webb scores inside plus a foul. It's 5-2 Orioles. Nice backdoor pass. Ari Jones to Belinda Barfneck for 2 here for Osseo. Janae Morton has a big first half. She uses the screen to get free for a long 3 here and stops and pops a 3 in transition. Morton scores 15 in the first half, and Osseo leads the Raiders 28-21 at halftime. A big sequence here. Io Port with the big block. Maddie Malone the save ahead to Morton. And she'll find Barfneck cutting for the layup as Osseo goes up 30-21. In transition, Morton finds Port for a sweet reverse layup. It looks like Osseo might have this one up 37-23. But Roseville rallies largely on the strength of 3s from Jacqueline Poss. She nails 3 long ones, and the Raiders close the gap in a hurry. But Osseo never surrenders the lead, and they hold off Roseville 57-53. They knew the Raiders would make a run.
We knew that was going to happen. We went into at halftime, went to the locker room thinking it's 0-0. They're not going to lay down at all until the clock hits 0. So we were okay, though. We were prepared.
Osseo's the 4th seed for the 4A tournament. The Orioles meet number 5 seed St. Paul Central at noon Wednesday in the quarterfinals at the Target Center.
For the 3rd straight season, the Park Center girls advance to the Section 3 3A title game to face Power de La Salle. The Pirates hoping for a different result this year against the 2-time defending state champions. Kayla McMorris knocks down a 3-pointer for the first basket of the game. It turns out to be Park Center's only lead of the night. Alina Starr drills a 3 for the Islanders to cap an 8-0 run. She scores 11 first-half points. Starr with an assist here, feeding Natalie Ewell in the lane for 2 to put De La Salle up by 8. Kaishana Johnson starts and finishes this break. The All-State forward takes the pass back from Starr to score, and De La Salle is up 23-9. Johnson can score inside and out. His 3 part of a 20-point first half for the senior. De La Salle puts up 53 first-half points to lead by 30 at the break. They cruise to another section title, beating Park Center 80-48.
In Section 6 4A, top seed Hopkins look to make it 3 consecutive section championships. The Royals taking on Minnetonka for the Section 6 title. Hopkins starts fast. Aaron O'Toole powers it up and in for 2 and a quick 8-0 lead. Nia Hawley follows with a tough straight-on runner off the glass. Hopkins gets out to a 10-0 lead. Minnetonka eases back into it. Caroline Shelquist gets the shooter's bounce on this 3. She hits 3 of them in the first half. High degree of difficulty on this one for Nia Coffey, and she gets it to fall. Coffey ties for team high honors with 14. The Royals lead by 9 at the half. And they blow it open to start the second. Coffey sets up O'Toole here for 2 of her 11 points. Coffey gets another assist as she sets up Taylor Anderson for 2 in transition. Part of a 12-0 run to start the second half for Hopkins. Coffey finds Anderson for 3 from the top of the key. Anderson ties Coffey with 14. Hopkins blows past a pretty good Minnetonka squad, 65-35. Hopkins is the top seed for the 4A tournament. The Royals play in the first game of the tourney against St. Michael Albertville Wednesday morning at 10 at the Target Center.
In Class A, the Maranatha Christian Academy girls will get a chance to defend their title too. Maranatha facing Legacy Christian for the Section 4A title. Mustangs quick in transition here. Lexi Lee to Madison Lee for the basket. Chino Stoll gets the steal for Maranatha, and from her stomach makes a nice pass to Elena Jarnot, who goes in for the hoop. Madison Lee spins away from the Legacy defender and finds Lexi Lee underneath for 2. Mustangs lead 41-18 at halftime. Osseo Seminum gets position inside. She scores early in the second half for MCA. Then a barrage of 3-pointers puts the game away. Hayden Hammond hits from way beyond the arc. And Madison Lee does the same on her way to a 17-point night. Maranatha wins its 4th straight section title despite having a target on their backs all season.
We have received more intensity, just physicality. I mean, teams just want to take it to us, even more so than they ever have. And to game in, game out, to have them ready for that mentally has been hard to do.
The Mustangs meet Section 8A champion Ada Borup in the state quarterfinals at 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon at Williams Arena. Defending Class 2A champion Providence Academy of Plymouth is also headed back to the state tournament after a 49-38 win over Howard Lake Waverly Winstead in the Section 5 championship. Natalie Ratliff led the Lions in scoring with 15 points. Providence meets Pine Island in the Class 2A quarterfinals Wednesday evening at 6 at the Target Center.
Now to boys basketball, the Armstrong Falcons pulled out a thriller in the Section 6 4A quarterfinals against St. Louis Park. That put them into the semis against number 1 seed Edina. Edina takes control of this one early. Graham Woodward across to Ben Boone for a 3, and the Hornets lead it 19-4. Armstrong doesn't get a whole lot to cheer about, but here's a highlight for the Falcons as Ibrahim Sissi gets the offensive board and dunks it home, but they're already down 24-8. Penn State recruit Woodward is on fire in the first half. He nails a 3 from the corner on the way to a 31-point game. It's 44-21 Edina at the half. Second half, and Edina gets it done defensively too. Reggie Lynch gets back to reject this shot for the Hornets. He'll swing it to Mark Hanberg for a jumper from the corner. Edina rolls past Armstrong 83-57 to advance to the section final.
In the other semifinal, Hopkins and Minnetonka playing. Hopkins grabs an early lead. Jake Wright spots up for 3 and buries it. Royals go up 16-10 in a low-scoring first half. Tonka fires back. Malcolm Moore misses the jumper, but Riley Deering rebounds and goes right back up to knock down the jumper. 24-23 Minnetonka at halftime. In the second half, Mike Fernando passes to Justin Mose, popping out to hit the 3. Skippers grab an 8-point lead at 38-30. Hopkins battles back. Kamali Chambers drives, dishes to Wright in the corner, and the Royals go in front 48-47. Down 56-54, Chambers drives into the lane, hits a clutch shot for Hopkins. That one forces overtime. In the first OT, Deering hits one of 2 free throws here to tie the game at 65, and it's headed to a second overtime session. Chambers makes some key free throws to seal it for Hopkins. The Royals beat the Skippers 79-72. They get Edina in the title game. The Hornets beat the Royals twice during the regular season. Maple Grove beat Cooper in December at the Bethel Holiday Tournament. The two matched up again in the quarterfinals of the Section 5 4A Boys Tournament. Maple Grove leads early in this one. Jake Winicky with a 3-pointer for the Crimson, putting them ahead 13-9. Bryson Loida feeds an open Eric Olson. Olson has a huge game, scoring a career-high 33 points for Maple Grove. Cooper gets contributions from a lot of players in this game. LeVar McCullough with a 3, tying the game at 29. Rashad Vaughn takes this one to the hole and gets the flush late in the first half. Cooper takes a 39-33 lead at halftime. A good start to the second half for the Crimson. Winicky hits another 3. They begin the second half on a 9-2 run. Darius Denson is one of 4 Hawks players to score in double figures. He lays one in here, 10 points for the junior in the game. And Cooper keeps the lead from there. Vaughn scoring 28 points. Cooper moves into the semifinals with a 78-67 win.
Park Center is the top seed in Section 5. The Pirates faced overmatched 8th seed Coon Rapids in their quarterfinal game. Quentin Hooker leaves the ball for Isaiah McKay for a 3 from the right side as the Pirates jump out to a 5-0 lead. A nice hustle to steal this pass here by Hooker. He gets it ahead to Trayton Daniels, who attacks for the layup. Daniels, one of 6 Pirates in double figures with 15. The Pirates dominate from the start and they keep it going. Jake Tanner pops a 3 to make it 29-9 Park Center, and they are well on their way. Park Center tops 100 points in a 101-51 win.
Also in Section 5, number 2 seed Osseo hosting Irondale. The Orioles get it to Ian Tyson, who connects for 2 of his 30 points. This one isn't as lopsided as Park Center's game. It's 48-35 Orioles at this point. Bridge Tussler takes off for 2, and Tussler, that's 25 on the night for Osseo. Wheeler Baker open for a 3 from the right side. Osseo builds the lead to 19 points. An impressive one here for Irondale. Jack Martinek throwing it down in traffic. He scores 25. but it's not enough. Tyson and the Orioles pull away to win it 83-58. That sets up Tuesday's semifinals as Cooper meets Park Center in the first semifinal, followed by Centennial and Osseo. The final game, championship, Friday. All those games at Rogers High School.
We could see another Osseo Park Center matchup in the final, but Cooper will have something to say about that as they try to eliminate Park Center for a second straight season.
Should be some great games. We'll break those down later in the show here. Straight ahead, though, in our Sports Jam Spotlight, he started on the ice for Armstrong. Now Pat O'Leary's coached Wayzata to the state hockey tournament.
As we saw earlier, Wayzata's boys hockey team placed 4th in the state class AA tournament. This week's Sports Jam Spotlight, we hear from Trojans coach Pat O'Leary, who grew up in Plymouth competing against Wayzata. It's something players dream of, and coaches too. In his second season as head coach, Pat O'Leary led Wayzata to the state boys hockey tournament.
It's a good feeling, obviously, for our program, for my family and friends and stuff like that are there to support me. But it's been a roller coaster ride of a couple years, I think, just trying to get everything organized, and it definitely is different, being the head coach compared to the assistant coach. When I was talking to my AD there, it's, you understand, the differences, and how can you understand them, But it's been good, and the support has been phenomenal.
O'Leary was a high school star at Armstrong and played on a national championship team for the Gophers. He got into training and skill development after playing in the minors. Then after a year as an assistant at Orono and 3 years assisting Carl Davis at Wayzata, O'Leary got the Trojans' top job last season.
I think that I'm a pretty good motivator, I think, of the kids. I think they understand that I've, played at a level that, takes a lot of focus to succeed at. I've coached at every level pretty much, so all the way up to high school, obviously. And I think I do a good job of motivating kids, and I think I do a pretty good job of continuing to build skills and improving kids throughout the year.
Get up the ice!
Pat says he's learned a little about coaching from all levels.
I think I've taken some from all of them. Obviously, Bruce Johnson gave me, a lot of things growing up. He was very attached to the Armstrong program, and I think I learned a lot from him in regards to that, in regards to, being close with the youth program. Obviously, Carl Davis, I owe, a lot to because he gave me my opportunity. He brought me on the staff, and, he taught me. One thing that Carl taught me that was so phenomenal was just, the daily, interactions with kids and how important those are. Just kind of knowing the pulse of the team and stuff.
I want you going to the net as fast as you can.
My college coaches were great. Doug Luke gave me the opportunity to come to the U, and then Don Lucia obviously was a special part because I was a part of the team that went in the championship, and learning how you can figure out kids' roles on teams, and he was big into peaking at the right time.
And a couple of his former coaches are pretty happy for Pat.
Without a doubt, I got to go down to the finals and watch them play, and pulling for Pat, the entire way, and very happy to see that outcome.
You could tell when he went to work in some of these training programs and working with the kids that it was only natural that he'd become a high school head coach, and he's done a great job.
Wayzata alum Mark Sorensen's played a key role as an assistant for O'Leary after coaching Wayzata's Bantams. Mark and Pat played against each other in high school and didn't think at that time that they'd be teaming up.
Definitely not. I mean, we were obviously big rivals, and we had some real intense playoff games. We played in the playoffs back when we were juniors, and seniors we battled it out too. So we didn't know each other real well until we got into college a little bit. We got to know each other a little bit, and then obviously now we're best of friends. But never would have expected it. But he's a great coach to work with. He does a phenomenal job.
I think we work really well together. He's phenomenal at what he does, and we wouldn't be here without him for sure.
With great success in the youth level in recent seasons for Wayzata, Pat O'Leary's hoping this year's trip to state is the first of many to come. Wayzata loses just 6 seniors from this year's team, so they figure to be a top club again next season. Sports Jam returns in a moment as John talks boys basketball with Ryan Iverson.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. The Section Boys basketball playoffs continue this week. In Section 5, the semifinals are Tuesday night, and the Section 6 final is Tuesday. Here to talk about those games, Ryan Iverson, our basketball analyst for a lot of the games on 12 Sports this winter. And Ryan, let's start with Section 5 4A semifinal matchup, beginning with the first one at 6 o'clock. Cooper against Park Center. This is going to be a great matchup.
It really is, John, and what it is it's a very balanced athletic matchup. You know, we saw Cooper dismantle Maple Grove on Maple Grove's home court. Obviously, you got Rashad Vaughn, you know, arguably the state's best player. What I love about him too is he's kind of gotten away from being too cute, too cool for school, and he's making really efficient basketball plays, and he's making his teammates better. He's had a lot of supporting cast help here. They had 5 guys in double figures against Maple Grove. With the way they're playing, I really expect them to match up extremely well against Park Center.
Pirates spent a good part of the season as the #1 team. We saw them lose a few weeks ago at Osseo, but Devin Buckley was out of that game as a three-point sharpshooter. He's back in the lineup. They're a tough team to beat, and they're hoping this is their year to get to state.
Well, and you add into the athletic ability of Trayton Daniels. I mean, they're a 3-headed monster with a couple of nice role players as well. And I tell you, Quentin Hooker's the key. When he's scoring well and he's confident, he's making shots, it's almost like the rest of the team kind of feeds on that. So it'll be interesting to see what the defensive matchups are for Cooper against Quentin Hooker and against the rest of the Park Center team.
The second semifinal has Osseo, the #2 seed, and the defending state 4A champions against Centennial, an upset winner over Champlin Park in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and that was kind of surprising. We've seen Champlin a few times this year, and they really get up and down the floor. And hats off to Centennial for getting there. You have to beat the best to be the best. So they've earned their right into the semifinals. But let's get to the state champion, the defending state champion. I always love that term. Until someone knocks them off, Osseo is the team to beat, especially in this section. And what I love about them, they hit on all cylinders. They have Ian Tyson down low. He's really gotten tougher, and he's playing physical. And then you have the winner of Bridge Tussler. I mean, just from football tenacity, he just wills his team to victory, and I love his toughness. So I expect Osseo to really come to play. And this is their time of year. They're used to winning come March time.
Let's go to the Section 6 championship game, which is Tuesday night at Osseo. Hopkins, a multiple-time state tournament entrant. We're used to seeing them at state against Edina, which is the #1 seed. And the Hornets have beaten Hopkins twice this season, including a game we did on Channel 12 about 10 days ago.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you don't normally feel pulling for Edina as an underdog, but this year you kind of feel against Hopkins in boys basketball. It's been, I think it was 23 years since the last time Edina had beat them. So the Graham Woodward as a guard is playing as well as anyone in the state. You combine that with Reggie Lynch down low. I mean, they have a potent 1-2 combination. But then you get to Hopkins, who's having a down year, supposedly. But here they are, finding themselves in the section final again, beating a very tough Minnetonka team, double overtime. And then the week before that, beating Wayzata in a very tough game in which they were down by 9, just finding a way to win. Just classic head coach Ken Novak basketball.
Ryan, should be a great week of basketball to watch.
It really should, John. The viewers are treated for just absolute great basketball, very even basketball. I expect very, very close competitive games this week.
Again, the Section 5 4A semifinals are Tuesday night at Rogers with a championship game Friday night at 7, and the 6 4A final Tuesday night, 7 o'clock at Osseo High School. We'll be back and wrap up Sports Jam after this timeout. Follow 12 Sports replays and live events on Twitter, Facebook, and live stream. Watch your favorite high school athletes performing live on your computer or mobile device. Link to us on 12.tv.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Our game of the week is the Section 5 4A boys basketball final. The Cooper Park Center semifinal winner meets the Osseo Centennial winner Friday at 7 at Rogers. Watch it Saturday at 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. and Sunday at 8:30 on Channel 12 and our website. Should be another great section final.
And we've got highlights next week from Section boys basketball and state tournament action in girls basketball and adapted floor hockey. We'll see you then.